In the latest crime drama series, the girl from Plainville, Elle Fanning, transforms into Michelle Carter, whose boyfriend committed suicide after Carter encouraged him through text messages. Seeing as this is a true story, Fanning eerily embodies and looks like the real Michelle. Despite Elle following in the footsteps of her older sister Dakota Fanning, who's also an actress, she became a notable performer in her own right, tackling challenging roles from a young age. Elle has starred as many diverse characters in plenty of adult-oriented movies, and her talent has allowed her to step out of her sister's shadow quite easily. Well, if you want to learn more about the story and life of Elle Fanning, then stay tuned because we'll get into all of that and more here for you on Famous Life. Mary Elle Fanning was born on April 9, 1998 in Conyers, Georgia, to mother Heather Joy and father Stephen J. Fanning. Her mom played college tennis while her father played minor league baseball for teams affiliated with the St. Louis Cardinals, and later he became an electronics salesman. Of course, Elle also has an older sister, Dakota Fanning, who's an established actress herself. Her maternal grandfather was American football player Rick Arrington, and her aunt is ESPN reporter Jill Arrington. And while sports do run in the family, clearly Elle and her sister Dakota felt drawn to Hollywood. Elle was brought up in the Southern Baptist religion as a child, and in terms of school, she had mainly been homeschooled. Despite Elle's mother Heather raising two child stars who started their careers as toddlers, she herself isn't comfortable with stardom. Elle's mom is quite shy and prefers to stay out of the spotlight, which she and her sister respect. Elle has described her mom as very hardworking and revealed she had sacrificed so much moving the family to LA for her children's dreams. The Fannings moved from Georgia to Hollywood once Dakota's career was kicking off, and Elle wasn't too far behind. She said about her mother's sacrifice, "I had the luxury of knowing what I want to do because of her." While the Fanning parents were successful in their own right, Dakota's on-screen success allowed them to upgrade the family home upon their move to California. In 2003, the family purchased a 3,582 square foot French country-style home in Studio City, Los Angeles. This would be the $1 million home that Elle would spend her childhood growing up in. You might be surprised to know that despite Elle and Dakota having similar career trajectories as children, they weren't actually very close during their childhood. Her older sister claimed in an interview that their 4-year age gap made it hard for them to relate to each other. Not to mention, Dakota was wildly famous as a kid and praised for her childhood projects, while Elle's career got a lot more notable as she grew older. These days, the sisters are much closer. Despite a happy upbringing, Elle's parents announced their divorce in 2018 after 25 years of marriage. Elle began acting before she even turned 3 years old. She started off naturally portraying the younger version of her older sister Dakota's characters in the miniseries Taken and the acclaimed film I Am Sam. In 2002, Elle would win her first role without her sister being involved in the comedy Daddy Daycare alongside Eddie Murphy. Already, her skill as a child actress was being noticed as Elle was further cast in the movie The Door in the Floor, starring Jeff Bridges and Kim Basinger. The producers of the 2004 film wanted to hire identical twins for the intense shooting schedule, but they were so impressed with Elle that they only used her. She had a couple of small roles around the same time, including voice work in the animated film My Neighbor Totoro opposite her sister Dakota, and appearing on some TV shows like CSI Miami and Law & Order. Then Elle would level up to starring in more critically acclaimed dramas, starting with the film Babel in 2005, playing the daughter of Brad Pitt and Cate Blanchett's characters. In 2006, Elle had scenes in a couple of movies and a sci-fi TV miniseries, but by the end of that year, she started to book leading roles as an actress. The first of these was starring as Emma in the movie Reservation Road, about the aftermath of a tragic car accident in which her character's brother is killed. In 2007, Elle reunited with Brad Pitt and Cate Blanchett when she snagged a small role in The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. That same year, she played the lead role of Phoebe in Phoebe in Wonderland, which was released in 2009. Elle also starred in Sofia Coppola's 2010 film Somewhere, and later that same year, she began working with Francis Ford Coppola's movie Twixt. In 2011, Elle had a lead role in the J.J. Abrams sci-fi drama film Super 8 as Alice, and the movie centered around a group of kids who are dealing with strange happenings in their small town. Elle was seen as one of the best parts of the film, and she further received a Spotlight Award at the Hollywood Film Festival. From the end of 2011 to 2012, Elle landed roles in movies like We Bought a Zoo and Ginger and Rosa, the latter performance garnering her widespread acclaim. It's clear that by this point, Elle had managed to step out of her sister Dakota's shadow and was well into establishing her own successful career. In 2014, Elle then starred alongside Angelina Jolie in the Walt Disney movie Maleficent with Jolie as the title character and Elle as Princess Aurora or Sleeping Beauty. She also appeared in a few other movies between 2014 and 2015, one of which was 3 Generations, where she played the role of a young transgender man. Clearly, these diverse roles were showing that Elle was an actress of wide-ranging skill. In 2016, Elle appeared in the films The Neon Demon, 20th Century Woman, and Ben Affleck's Prohibition-era drama Live by Night. A year after, Elle was in a handful of movies, one of which was The Beguiled, where she reunited with Sofia Coppola, and in 2018 she was still consistently landing roles. That year, there was I Think We're Alone Now, Galveston opposite Ben Foster, as well as the film Teen Spirit. In May 2019, Elle was chosen as a jury member of the international competition in the 72nd annual Cannes Film Festival, being the youngest to do so in history. Also that year, she starred in a few other films as well as reprising the role of Aurora in Maleficent, Mistress of Evil. In 2020, aside from acting in a few movies, Elle further starred in and executive produced the historical comedy series The Great, portraying Catherine the Great, the 18th century Empress of Russia, alongside actor Nicholas Hoult. The show debuted on Hulu in May 2020 and Elle received critical acclaim for her role. Not to mention, she was nominated in the 2021 Golden Globe Award for Best Actress on a TV series, musical, or comedy. The show was also confirmed for a 3rd season. A far cry from her satirical role on The Greats, Elle is also playing the lead character in The Girl from Plainville, an 8-part Hulu series about the true story known as the Texting Suicide Case, based on the death of Conrad Roy. In the show, Elle stars as Michelle Carter, the infamous girlfriend of the late Conrad who committed suicide in 2014 at age 18, after Carter encouraged him to do so via text messages. Carter was later convicted of involuntary manslaughter for her involvement in his death, and the Hulu series covers the pair's strange relationship and the trial itself. For the role, Elle looks scarily similar to the real Michelle, and her transformation reportedly required 3 wigs, precise placement of moles and freckles, and much more. The makeup artist for the show even had to recreate what she called the outlandish eyebrows Michelle adopted during her court appearances on Elle, while she also wore a silicone piece on her forehead to change her hairline. Elle spoke about this character, saying, "Her look definitely evolves and changes a lot, and she grows up a lot," also noting that it was an intense shoot that lasted 5 months in Savannah, Georgia. It also required Elle, who also serves as an executive producer on the show, to jump back and forth in time during any given episode. Not to mention, the actress had just come off of filming season 2 of The Great and only had 2 weeks in between projects to prepare. Despite being a quote, shock to her system as Elle described it, she no doubt managed to nail it playing Michelle Carter. In terms of what's next for Elle, she's also set to star in The Nightingale based upon the novel of the same name opposite her sister Dakota, and reportedly being released at the end of 2022. Not to mention, Elle and her older sister also recently kicked off their own production company, Llewellyn Pictures, named after the family dog, with a first-look deal at MRC. Despite the learning curve involved in becoming a producer, Elle no doubt wants to control her path in Hollywood and follow in the footsteps of other A-listers like Reese Witherspoon and Nicole Kidman. Elle and Dakota are following those actresses' advice of, acquire your own material, find what you love, and try to make it happen. We can break the mold of am I going to get picked for this part and tell our own stories. Considering the fact that Elle Fanning has already portrayed such a wide variety of roles with great success and is further getting involved in producing her own projects too, it seems like only the beginning for this young star. Either way, we can't wait to see what's next for Elle. Thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe to Famous Life and leave a comment for who you'd like us to feature next.